Hey guys, what is up? It's Dusty here and welcome back to another episode of the Daily Crypto News. And today, I think we have a couple of very interesting things to share. For example, in the crypto space, liquidations right now are going wild. You can see it's sitting at a rough $600 million over the last 24 hours as, well, the stock market went down, as you guys can almost properly see right there. Nasdaq going down, S&P going down. Things are just moving not so positively. And I think it primarily has to do with three things, which I'll show you guys throughout this video. Again, guys, let me know you appreciate these videos by pressing that like button. It just helps out a ton. Trying to get to 300 likes on this video, that would be amazing. And also, I'm hosting a $10,000 giveaway, as you can see right here. If you want to join, all you have to do is check the description down below and just follow me on one platform. That's it. You're automatically entered. So let's go over these three major events that are happening in crypto right now, which is causing prices to not act this positively. I'm excluding the Ethereum merge because it's really hard to fathom exactly what the consequences of that are onto Bitcoin. I know there's a lot of fear, uncertainty, and doubt, literally FUD, but how exactly it affects Bitcoin? That's hard. Same thing goes for all this inflation and interest rate talk. It's kind of hard to say. What we do know is that the correlation is significantly high, right? You can see, for example, S&P went up for a good little while and Bitcoin went up for a good little while. The actual percentages don't line up anymore, except for the fact that Bitcoin also shoved down significantly hard right now as the S&P is doing so. But oh boy, I'm only now seeing that it's down 7% on the day. You can actually see it right there. It is down 7% at 21.5 thousand. So it's very much overcorrecting for Bitcoin. But I'm seeing a couple of things right now that are making people fearful. And I know stock market is basically base one, but there's more. So one of the things going on right now is a couple of spearheads around this world are attending a G20 meeting in Indonesia. Obviously, this is some very volatile times. Whenever these spearheads right here, which we shall not name out loud, meet up, you just know that there's a volatile time ahead. We don't know exactly what's going to be discussed, or we don't necessarily know what's going to be concluded. We know they're going to be talking about some very specific tensions, which we already earlier described to be specifically volatile. What I mean with being volatile is that it has some drastic effects on the market depending on what comes out of it. And so since this was just announced right now, people might be in a little bit of shock over all of this. It wouldn't be too crazy in my opinion. It all has to do with the fact that a recession could come rather quickly, specifically because of some tensions around the world, and anything in regards to tensions that leads to volatility. And if the stock market moves down like we've earlier seen, well, Bitcoin suffers the same fate. There's also two parts here which kind of coincide. Bitcoin miners sell 6,000 Bitcoin, taking advantage of the short-lived upturn. Now, I stated before in my videos that I don't believe this bear market is over. What I still believe is that Bitcoin is not going to see a lower value than 17.5 thousand in the near term, but that we will hover around this level for longer, which I honestly prefer anyway because that leads me to buy more Bitcoin at these lower prices. So I'm not really complaining. But why are all these miners selling all their Bitcoin? Well, it's most likely just logic, right? The more that the price pumps, the more that they're letting go. And I'm going to guess that they started to take some profits when the S&P made a significant high here again. And even though in hindsight that was not the best point to buy just quite yet, it was a significant high spot. But there's also something else that they might be fearful of. For any of you that do not know, Mt. Gox, here we go, used to be a very popular, actually the biggest crypto exchange out there. The most dominant crypto exchange, just the crypto exchange of everybody. Of course, it lost a ton of Bitcoin, 850,000 of them, or somewhere around that ballpark, years and years and years ago. And check the article. Selling Bitcoin in fear of Mt. Gox dump. Here's what experts suggest. We covered this, I believe, last month, that the Mt. Gox dump, or rehabilitation plan, or whatever the freaking name was getting closer and closer and closer. Because what basically is happening right now is all the people that lost money back then, right? Even though not close to the 850,000 Bitcoin have been found back, because it was allegedly hacked and they don't know where it is, but you can never really prove that it's Bitcoin. They found, let's say 180,000 back, which they're going to give back to the people that lost money at the time. The scary, strange thing is, though, that these guys have two options. Get it in Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, or potentially yen or dollar, or just basically say, hey, I want it to be liquidated. And the Bitcoin Cash, and yen or dollar, I think has to do with whether or not you had that specific currency on the exchange at the time when they lost your money. But I can't be too certain about that. I just know for a fact you have two options. Get it back in crypto, or get it where they sell the crypto, you sell the crypto, and you get the actual cold hard cash. Now, obviously, since these are over 100,000 Bitcoin, 140,000 Bitcoin right now. That's a very significant amount of selling pressure. And there's a couple of points to make. For example, okay, 140,000 Bitcoin will only make 8% of the cumulative daily exchange volume. This is statistically minimal in comparison to the market. Yeah, that's bollocks. Any person with more than a tiny sized squirrel brain could realize that 140,000 Bitcoin being dumped just like that, albeit not that much volume in the grand scheme of things, it's a lot of selling pressure. Nobody can deny that. It's also the underlying idea behind it. These people are taking profits literally right now. They bought at $500, are selling right now at $22,000. This is a good day for them. But this also in turn means a lot of these old holders are now getting rid of tokens that we considered to be long-term holders. And since they are now in the metrics showing fear in the markets because, well, if they expected things to go up further, they would not sell. Specifically at a point where people are very fearful of a recession, very fearful of the stock market plummeting just the tiniest bit, very fearful of inflation, interest rate, everything. Yeah, it's a very volatile time and they can add significantly to the fear in the markets. Albeit for them a really good decision to sell because they've made a, let's say, 40x, 50x on their money. So if you're asking the question, will it affect the crypto market? I'm going to say it might already be priced in. People might already understand it's happening one of these days here. It was reported that it was going to be August. I could not find an exact date. Some people are stating exact dates, but I'm not sure if they're known to the public or people are just guessing because they said August. As I said, I looked around for a little while, but I could not find it. Another reason for fear might be this. Even though I don't really like to follow these big bankers' opinions, it is always worth it to take a look at what they're saying. Jamie Dimon has voiced his speculations about the US economy and predicts something worse than a recession. He says there are storm clouds, referring to the interest rates. QT, oil, Ukraine. Don't want to talk too much about those words right there. Jamie noted that overall the US economy is strong. Consumers' balance sheets are in good shape. Businesses are equally good in shape. When you forecast, you have to think differently. Is it a bad mistake to say, here's my single point forecast? It is bad. Let's just say that many others are also saying that this recession is most likely going to come. And if it does come, we don't know what the consequences of that on Bitcoin will be. We're speculating that because Bitcoin is kind of a hedge and Blackrock, for example, is going in. My other article would have been about that right here. Blackrock is going in at the time. I even had a funny picture on Instagram earlier today that kind of read, okay, Bitcoin is dumping and Blackrock is thinking, let's get into it. Big recession is coming. Blackrock is like, let's get into Bitcoin as much as possible because they know these trends. They are the biggest asset managers in the world. They know exactly when people will start to buy Bitcoin. The reason I'm saying right now that this bear market is not over is, at least for a good part, based upon that too. Do you think BlackRock would start pushing it at the exact highest point? No. The exact lowest point, most likely, or the point where it's going to get necessary the most. So basically the most troublesome time for the market which Bitcoin is most correlated to. What I mean with that is, for BlackRock, the lower the better. So they're trying to find the bottom of the bottom because that's best for their clients, makes things look the best as possible. And if they have to do some manipulation to get it there, I think they're fine with that because they have all the power in the world. But even better for them would be that they're going ahead and adopting this standard, providing the opportunity just before everybody starts needing it. They're there the moment before all the regulations are clear to provide it to you and make some money on you. That is some very smart business that they're doing. And that leads me again to believe, even though the crypto bull market might have not started again, right? Maybe, I guess we're still in a bear market right now. It might continue on like this for a little while. BlackRock is now proven, and I guess Google and the others have also proven, this technology is here to stay. More and more institutions are going to start stocking up. And the most important question is, what are you going to do? Are you going to sit by idly and just wait for all BlackRock's clients to just buy all this stuff at a cheap price and then make a ton of money? Or are you going to act as well and follow the big guys? At the end of the day, people often look at Warren Buffett and think, wow, he's such a successful investor, right? And yes, of course he was. But one of the things which he often says is investing is pretty simple, just take some time. Or you just follow the big things, don't go for these small crazy percent gains. I honestly believe, and this is something I would make quite clear, by just buying Bitcoin, you'll make crazy returns over your lifetime. You don't have to look for the craziest, riskiest investment or do that with a smaller budget. But by just going for Bitcoin, simply put, I think you're golden over the next decades. Just literally golden. And I think these bigger institutions know that too, which is why they're going so heavily for it right now. So is that why crypto is dumping? It could be that they're manipulating the price downwards because, well, that would be better for almost everybody. The cheaper the things are, the more people that are fearful, the cheaper of a price they can get for new assets. You know, the Celsius crash and whatnot, it might be bad for you guys and me because we might have had money in Celsius, but for big guys like FTX, which again has been invested into by a lot of these bigger companies, that's actually a really good deal because that means FTX is now able to buy specific assets for a lot cheaper than before, and they know they're going to salvage it anyway when the bull market comes back around. So it's some like 300 IQ 4D chess moves here. But let's just say it like this: if you can manipulate the crypto market to go down, you're most likely going to do so because that means you can make a crazy ton of money on the upside. When exactly will that happen? I don't think these guys have that planned out just quite yet, but maybe they do. Maybe they control everything. I just know that it's very much in their favor to push these prices down, create a lot of fear, and that there's quite a lot of other factors here that are leaving people to be kind of scared. Like, for example, the Mt. Gox huge amount of Bitcoin dump. So yeah, that was it for today's little update. Hopefully you guys all enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you press the like button and subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you guys again in another crypto video later today.